Cool.
Greetings, sentient beings. This stream is not intended for children. There will be harsh language and likely adult themes. So if you're under 18, go somewhere else.
Fucking A. I thought I'd get us started.
What we call the gold standard, right?
So anyway, just before we started here, we were talking about autism and dyslexia.
We were.
Oh, yeah. Different types of dyslexia. But what would you like to talk about today?
Actually, right now, I'm still pretty burned out. I didn't get online at all yesterday because I was like running from a doctor's appointment to doing some heavy work and some construction and packing, and it's like, yeah, I tried to answer some people's DMs and Twitter, and it's like I was having trouble just keeping my eyes open long enough to read anything, let alone come up with a coherent response.
Yeah. I was hoping that when you were away, you were just getting a really long sleep. Are you doing okay in that department?
I got 5 hours last night, which is better than average for me.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, you've had a few long stints lately, so this is good.
Yeah, but as far as most of the day yesterday, I was working on building a feline containment unit so that the cats are not climbing all over Sloth Girl while she's trying to drive.
You know, I have a kitty carrier that I bought from Delta. Like, literally, the airline company has a kitty carrier, which is ironic because it wouldn't fit under the seat in front of me. But like, it's made out of cloth and has a little furry, sort of like shag carpet on the bottom of it. And I just leave it open on a dresser, and my kitty, she uses it as her own personal clubhouse. And that is a really good way to get a cat used to being in their carrier. So when you need them in the carrier, they don't object like most felines do.
Yeah, I have that too for Sammy. That I've got the carrier, you know, when I have to take him to the vet or that, and he naps in there sometimes. But you know, they're going to be stuck in this for like 8 to 10 hours. So it has to be big enough to have a litter box in it and for us to reach in and put food and water in it when we stop for gas.
How long's the trip going to be?
Well, it's about a 350-mile drive, but, you know, I'm preparing for, you know, this is like assuming perfect weather and everything and not making any unnecessary stops and only one meal stop. The absolute minimum time, I think, would be 8 hours.
Egad.
You know, and that's not counting on if the cats have any problems with this, although we're planning to drug them before we start, so hopefully they'll sleep through most of it.
Yeah.
That's actually a good idea.
Do these drugs get administered in pill form?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I have had cats where they knew exactly what the pill was. Like, if you tried to wrap it up in meat or put it into their clothing, they'd eat around it, and it'd be in their bowl after.
Yeah. Petunia's very hard to give pills to. She's very good at spitting them out, but we've had to do it a couple of times. I've never tried to give Sammy's son medicine before, so I don't know how this is going to work, but he's pretty mellow, so...
and put it in the food?
No, you can't. They'll won't eat the food.
Oh, those smart cats.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, cats are very good at picking
exactly
around
what you do.
I remember now. Yeah, I've had cats, so I know.
Actually, if you have to give a cat medicine, the best way is if you can get it as a liquid.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you get a liquid and dip their paw in it, no matter how bad it tastes, they will clean it off their paw.
Or squirt it on their little butt. Because cats lick everywhere.
That'd work.
Yeah.
So
it's kind of
we
grody,
got a
but
pretty good crew in the side chat here, too.
Those cat carriers.
We've got Tea and Danish, Amiga Nuts, got Dave.
Hello, Tea and Danish.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. And
Lamberg
we're
Lady,
moving
Doc
that to I see all
Fearson.
over the place.
I'm going to feature some Danish in my next video, which I plan to edit a bit later.
And we've got somebody new here. I don't know who this skunk waterbait is.
I think I've only ever known one Danish guy, citizen, dude. Sorry,
Okay.
I'll just be over here.
Apart from me, I mean, we don't know each other that well, but still, we've appeared in some streams together.
Yeah, I really haven't known anybody there personally before, but now I'm aware of about, I think, 4, content creators who aren't necessarily in the atheist community, but somehow overlap it.
I'm not a big content creator. I've created a little bit, but it's mostly just videoing of interviews and being in debates and stuff. And eventually I'd like to get into creating content. Hello.
Oh, I
Hey,
know this
Diana.
one.
Hey, Diane.
I've seen you around somewhere. Are you someone I've met before?
You've been in a stream with her before, I think.
Oh,
with
wow.
Maybe.
Hey, I know. Do I know you? Have I seen you somewhere before?
Well, Randolph, even if you're not putting anything out on YouTube, you are
I
definitely the
just got
master of
home.
memes on Twitter.
Well, thanks.
Okay, wait a minute. I have it muted. Okay. This is interesting. No.
Hey, Davros.
Why did I hear an echo?
I don't know. I'm not hearing
well,
one over
I'll hook
here.
up
No,
my
we hear you
headset
fine.
and everything will be fine.
Alan Dance is really good with all these different accents, I tell you. I'm impressed.
Well, I was actually meaning to ask
a
you,
minute.
are you Canadian?
Yes.
Thought so.
There you go.
I don't know. I really wish I had a cooler accent than I do. Like, I've noticed if you have an accent that Americans think is cool, your subscriber numbers skyrocket.
Oh.
By the way, I may live in Denmark, but my actual nationality, at least I would like it to be that. I'll just show you. I'll see if you can guess it. Just a sec.
Is he wearing a kilt? He's Scottish, isn't he?
I don't know. Aside from Denmark, I'd always thought he was Norwegian, but let's see what he comes up with.
Okay, let's see if this is any better.
I think I saw some of his flag there.
Yeah,
You're fine, Diana. We hear you.
we do.
Okay, no, what I was hearing an echo, and I did not know if we were hearing the echo or not.
Is anyone else hearing an echo?
No.
Petey!
Can you zoom up his screen so we can see the flag better?
Yeah, it's I'm not. How do I do that? How do I select one person here?
You're trying to zoom up your screen, Hopswatch, so we can get
football.
your
I'll see
If
if I
you're
can
asking
do
me,
that.
you're asking the wrong person.
Screen sharing with
Well, see,
you.
I can get it so it shows me bigger, but I don't see how I can get it to show someone else. Well, Hops,
Can
why don't you
you-
just try to talk and see maybe that brings you up?
Okay, yeah, I'll definitely do that. I'm talking and talking and talking. Nothing seems to happen.
Nothing.
So,
No, you're
that
just on
wouldn't
the side
work.
there.
Just a sec. Is someone in the comments in the chat maybe throwing guesses? Let me see if I can share my.
Well, do you have a photograph of it? Because if you share it as a screen image, I know I can bring it up.
That would work. Yeah, I can find the flag on Google. Just a sec.
Okay, yeah.
Well,
If you
now-
do your
now-
share screen, then I can show it to
now-
everyone.
Now
I
my
see
browser's
Randall's got
crashing.
something here.
Yeah, that was from earlier when you're talking about a cat carrier. I just put that up for fun.
Oh god, that's horrible.
Yeah, it is awful. It's a meme.
Oh,
It's a
egad.
meme.
That's not right.
I know. This is an oldie. It's awful. People are cruel to animals. It's a shame. It's like there's humor in that, but it's dark humor.
There we go. Okay.
I don't think any of us would ever do that to a cat.
No.
I don't
I
think
can't see
that
it.
would be possible
There
to do
we
that
are.
to a cat either.
Oh, what the hell?
Maybe a dead cat, but I wouldn't do that either.
No.
No, I had the other screen in front of this one, and now I see this, and it's like, no, that's just not, no, that's not good. I don't like that. No.
Okay, Hops, I've got you on 2 screens, but
Yeah, my browser just crashed.
And he doesn't seem to be embiggened on our side.
Nope. Let's see.
okay. Well,
I
I
found
removed
the- I found the
the
flag,
redundant
though.
one.
So let's see. There you go.
Oh, and we lost Duke here. I hope it's not for another month.
Oh my gosh, my brain just went somewhere horrible. With that cat carrier, I mean, talk about grabbing it by the pussy. I'll be over here.
Well, that's
Yes, as well you should be. Oh, jeez, man.
Well, I suppose I didn't have to share it, but that's where my brain went all of a sudden, and yeah.
Oh, man, and I just got home, and I'm subjected to that, thank gods. Oh, well.
Where have you been?
I went to the local Walmart, and I picked up some kitchen equipment.
Oh,
Yay. Yeah, I actually bought a small deep fryer.
that seems like a contradiction in terms.
It does. It's one of those rectangular deep fryers that fits on your kitchen counter.
Like for French fries.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay,
Still knocks me out that they call them chips in the UK.
I actually managed to put it up on a to put it in a.
Yeah,
There you
if
go.
you open it in an image viewer and then hit the screen share on the bottom of your StreamYard stream,
Yeah.
it should let you share the window. Oh, there it is. There we go.
What do we sing? Oh,
Okay,
yay!
something about Slavic.
Wow.
Not exactly.
Well, it says Slav.
It does. It does indeed. But it's not. It's not about. It's not Slavic in any sense. It's
I'm
not Slavonic.
guessing it translates
at
to
it.
never a slave.
Something about never a slave. Yeah, something.
Maybe
to
it's
the,
just me, but that looks like something out of a bad 80s video game.
The graphics aren't so well, but that was what I could find quickly. Anyway, the text says rather dead than a slave.
Oh, okay then. Okay.
that's
So-
a good message.
Are we supposed to recognize the flag
Yeah,
from
I'm
a
not
certain
clear what
country?
country that would be from.
Well, it's not exactly a country. It's not its own country.
It's a problem for
Okay.
state.
It's an ethnic minority.
Huh?
Not of Denmark, though.
Something Nordic.
From the general vicinity, or what?
Tyrol is.
Oh, okay.
North Frisla?
Yes.
The frig's
Yes.
it.
Who said that?
I did.
Kate did.
Oh, cool. It is. Yes, North Friesland. I'm half North Frisian. The other part is from Pomerania.
Okay. Now, do
I-
I remember somebody saying something to the effect of Frisian was the language that is not English, that is closest to English?
I've heard that as well.
I mean, I do not speak Frisish, so I or Frisian.
But then
or-
again,
so I don't know.
when I read it, I think it looks like German, and I mean, I think it places itself a comfortable place between German and Dutch, actually,
Okay.
more than English.
This picture was one I saw on Twitter today. Some lady was posting a picture of cats that were coming up for cuddling with her just in her neighborhood. So I made a meme out of it, and I thought this was quite nice. So they're just
Oh,
chilling.
that's nice. It is.
Kitties.
Kitties.
Okay, it helps make up for the last one. Not
Yeah, I hope so.
completely, but it
Okay, there you
helps.
Sorry about that.
I do sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes miss a multiple cat household. Um, usually I would have at least, or I would be had by. Yeah, you don't have a cat; the cat has you. By at least,
Yep.
by at least two. Um, there was one point where I was had by two. Another number was six for quite a while.
Yikes! I've never had more than 3.
I've
I
had
want
5 cats and 2 dogs when I was a kid. My parents had all that. So my
And-
mom
and
liked to help stray cats a lot, and she still does that today.
That
Well, I
must have been
told-
one stinky house.
Um, No, actually, but maybe I was just used to it.
Well, I mean,
At
the
one
number of
point-
times I've come home and Columbia has taken like a very recent dump or pee in her litter box, but still, I walk in and I'm like, holy crap. And,
Oh, we
I
had-
bought the odor canceling kitty litter, but it didn't seem to help very much.
Oh, you had
yeah, it never does.
you had an indoor cat. We had cat door and dog door, and the cats go out and dog
Yeah.
goes out on their own, and
That explains it.
there was never a problem there. So
There was once, quite by accident, that I was had by 16.
Egad.
1-6. My 2 girls got pregnant simultaneously. And, there were
Wow.
like 10 kittens, 5 and 5. And yeah, getting them rehomed was a whole bunch of fun, let me tell you. But what was also fun is trying very, very hard not to step on any of the kittens. And as I said, this was totally by accident. I was not trying to do a Kathy, my cousin with the 39 dogs. No, I was not trying to do that at all. But it was when I was living in that bombed out shell of a house. And
At one time, I was actually thinking up a plot for a crime novel, where the decisive thing that would expose the murderer was that the murderer was either walking as if having or as if not having cats, because I know that exactly, that you walk in a specific way if you have cats, so that you don't step on them.
I don't know, but my cat is kind of stupid, I have to admit, because the sheer number of times I'm walking, my foot is in motion. There is nothing I can do about it. And from behind me, she darts in front of the
Yes.
foot, and I end up
Yes.
punching her across the room. And
Yes.
I'm like, I never would have chosen to do
Yeah.
that. Why did you?
Cats do that all the time.
yeah.
I need to interject here. I finally figured out how to get the PayPal pool to work instead of using the PayPal me.
oh, yay.
Good.
Yay.
So yeah, I adjusted the total on that based on how much I had already collected at the time when I started that. But I believe that the PayPal pool people can now donate anonymously,
Oh, boy.
which I think was
that's
discouraging some people from the PayPal
good.
because it
Are you-
always gave their real name. So
Are you anywhere near 1,000, or how's it coming?
I haven't didn't get to total it up yesterday, but I think we're very close to 1,000. I don't think we've quite gotten there.
Do you have a goal? Like
That's
like
fantastic.
like a
2,500.
threshold beyond which you've reached what you're trying to raise?
I think I missed something there.
I said, do you
what's your
have
goal, hon?
a goal, like a total you're trying to reach?
Yeah, well, wait, I figure we need about 2,500 total.
Okay.
So I think that we're probably around 950 now.
Okay, that's not
But
that
like I
bad,
said,
really.
I didn't get to add it up yesterday, so
When do you need it all?
basically I figure we need it by February 27th to be able to make the move, for March 1st.
Okay, fine. Yeah, I didn't know if it was ending right on the 23rd or if you were going a little bit beyond that. Yeah, because everybody out there, we're doing the whole fundraising thing, and I'll be closing it out Sunday morning on the Coffee with Lavender show.
Yeah,
So
well,
if you want to
that's-
get the fundraising done and get the hell out before I come on the air, you can do that.
Well, one of
Yeah,
these
that's
days I
still
should
in the
probably,
organizing phase. That I have a number of people who said they're willing to help with an all-day stream, a relay chat on Saturday the 22nd.
Yay!
Yeah.
Basically, so far I've got like about 7-8 people who said they're willing to do it, but I only have 2 people who have committed to specific times.
Well, I'll tell you what. You end up with any open slots, just tap my shoulder. I'll be there.
Yeah.
So one of these days I should hold one of these fundraiser things so I can finally buy that DeLorean I want.
There you go. There you are.
I thought it was a Ferrari.
No. That's just Patreon. I would hold one of these. No,
I saw a DeLorean the other day in the little rural
Holy shit!
fringe town that I live in.
Oh my!
yeah. I've gotten to ride in one, and it seems like it wasn't the best constructed car in the world, but gosh, do they ever look cool? You know?
They do look cool.
What I actually saw years ago when one of the James Bond films came out, the one with the car that was also a submarine.
Okay.
I don't know if anybody. It was a Lotus.
Yep.
I actually saw one of those on the street. It had the propellers in the back and everything. I was parked outside my grandmother's house for some strange reason. I don't know why, but it was there.
Back in the 1960s, they did make some amphibious cars that actually had a couple of propellers in the back so you could drive them into a lake.
Yeah. And this was one of those Lotuses. And it was like, okay. I didn't want to know how much the price was, because it certainly wasn't, $29.99 the way most of the cars were of the era.
They weren't actually very good as submarines because they could only submerge once.
By the way, anything is edible. Some things are just edible ones.
Yes. My friend Deb used to like that comment. Are these mushrooms edible? Yeah, once. Oh God.
Yeah, Doc Fearson is saying I should live stream the move.
That would be interesting, wouldn't it?
There we go.
I'm still curious what you look like in meat space.
Well, and I have said that, when I get to Minnesota, the first chat I do on Minnesota, I will unmask on camera.
Hey, how do you like that?
Oh,
yeah.
Now that's a new one.
Photoshop, because that's fucked up.
No, that's somebody took them apart, and I was reading about it. They made the real thing out of it.
Yeah, I
That is
could believe
crazy
that somebody
thing.
just welded 3 of them together.
Yeah, but the thing is, that picture previously, or two pictures ago, the
This one?
what do you
It's got the food processor on it.
Well, but the DeLorean limo looks like it's the DeLorean centipede.
Yeah,
Yes,
it does.
that's exactly.
A centipede with wings.
No, I mean, I'm making reference to the human centipede. You remember that movie? I never saw it, but still.
Whatever it
Neither
is
did I,
you
but-
call, whatever it is you call that step where you go into the car, that looked really close to the water line.
The running.
That one, that one, yeah.
I had thought the
The
same
running
thing.
board. I think it's a running board, they call it.
Now,
Okay,
I am
okay.
betting that car is not actually on the water, that it is just driving through a very deep puddle.
Well, I'm not
Look.
even seeing any tires, so I suspect it's special effects.
It looks kind of hovercraft-like there,
Yeah.
Yeah,
They've
I
got all-
see the way the tires are folded under.
Yeah,
They
no,
put-
you're right. It has no wheels, and it looks like it's probably mounted on some type of raft.
I think they've
Yeah,
converted
that
it
looks
to
like a
hovercraft.
raft there. Yes.
Looks like it's converted to a hovercraft of some sort.
Are you familiar with the first movie by Peter Jackson, the one who went to make the Lord of the Rings films?
You mean bad taste?
Yes.
Uh-huh.
absolutely fantastic film. So there's a car exploding at one time in that film, and me and my friend were actually looking at that scene frame by frame to see if it was actually the car that you saw that was exploding. And it turned out the frame just before the rocket hits it, the car has changed. It's a different car exploding. And you can see that if you go frame by frame, but it happens too quickly when you're just watching the movie.
Well, you know how at the end of the movie, the house turns out to be a spaceship and it lifts off?
Mm-hmm.
Well, the same thing happens at the end of the Rocky Horror Picture Show. And every time I would watch it, like in the theater, I'd shout, "Hey, look, it's the end of Bad Taste." And nobody ever got it until once one guy goes, "Arr!" and walks up to me and goes, "Thank you so much for making that reference." So,
I never. Why didn't I notice? If I ever see a Rocky Horror Picture Show again, I will make that reference as well.
Right on.
Let me. Can I show something I saw? That's 2 years ago now.
No.
Okay, I won't then.
That wasn't very nice.
Yeah, that was a little...
Whoever said I was nice.
Nobody.
You see it?
There we are. Oh,
no.
nice.
Yeah, not actually. I mean, you finally find out that it actually exists, and this is what you're getting. I mean, cool. It actually exists, you know. But then you find out, really, it's nothing more than that.
Yeah, see, the Batman logo doesn't work. Now, if you've got an Autobot or a Decepticon symbol, you can slap it on any vehicle and you can say that it works.
Yeah. Although it would be kind of funny to see like a Batman symbol on like an old school Volkswagen Bug.
That too.
You know.
I mean,
are you telling me this isn't the real thing? This is actually
not some sort of custom job.
Yeah, are you telling me this is actually not the real thing? This is just some bloke who put the logo on his car?
Right.
Is that really what you're saying?
Well, no, that's the Batmobile in stealth mode.
There you are. There you are.
Yeah, no one would ever notice.
I had to look
the technology to cover the logo. Yeah.
I note that the Font of All Knowledge tells us that the number 4 Barris-built Batmobile is owned by Doug Jackson and is located in Southern California. I wonder where in Southern California. LA, probably? I mean, I forget what the model year is, but that's a Ford Futura.
Okay.
I
Well,
I don't know about the custom stuff, but an interesting bit of trivia is because it linked into one of his war movies. John Wayne bought the battleship Texas when they decommissioned it.
Oh my!
Yeah, but what do we really think about John Wayne?
I'm not a fan. Okay.
Neither am I.
I think there are about 3 movies of his that I actually liked watching. That's about it.
The
I'm
fun
not
stuff.
sure I've ever seen a John Wayne movie ever.
I know I have, but I wouldn't be able to identify him in them.
Oh, well, that's
Okay.
easy enough. If you've ever seen him once, you could tell.
You've seen him,
Um,
yeah.
I like the Sons of Katie Elder. I like
Okay.
Brewster Cogburn just because it had one of the best lines ever in a movie. That he, near the end of the movie, he goes into the saloon and he grabs the girl he's been after off the stage and throws her over his shoulder. And walking out of the saloon, there's this old lady on the boardwalk that says, "Well, I never." And he looks at her and says, "No, ma'am, I don't think you ever have."
Okay.
Well, one of my favorite lines in a movie, there's this Actually, he's not a terrorist. He's robbing a cruise ship, but he's holding a gun on this one dude, and he goes, "I don't like you." And the guy looks at him and goes, "But you don't even know me."
Okay.
I don't know. It slayed me. Maybe it's funnier in context, but
There was
yeah.
there was one of the many arguments that the male slimy bastard and I had. This one was over my atheism, and he gave me the line, "Of course there's a God." When John Wayne was interviewed on this program, whatever it was, he said, "Of course there's a God. There has to be." So, according to the male slimy bastard, there is a God because John Wayne said so.
Well,
Yeah.
of course,
that
I know who that
settles it.
God is. I know exactly who that God is. You see, we're looking for a bearded man who created everything. And there's a father, a son, a ghost, good versus evil. Clearly, God is George Lucas.
Okay, then. Okay, yeah.
I'm
He's
just
not the
saying.
horse.
You know, I mean, he fits all the criteria.
Yeah, he does. Actually, that's a good point.
Oh man. Okay.
I,
but
I
when
was
you-
considering making a video with the challenge to, can you prove that I exist?
No.
No.
You know, so it's
Although-
like, how can you say that God exists if you can't even prove I exist and I'm here talking to you?
Well, I know how I exist. It's a very simple philosophical thing. It's I stink, therefore I am.
There we go. There we go.
Or in other words, I'm a bit of a materialist. Just saying.
Well,
Yeah, I mean, okay, to argue with Saitan Brugenkate over that brain in a vat stuff and everything else. Okay, if you're creating the entire world around you, just totally out of your brain cells, that world around you is real as far as you are concerned. It exists as far as because you're there, you're interacting with it. So you're real because as far as you are concerned.
yes.
Oh yeah, but
Somebody
I mean,
looking
honestly,
from the outside
though,
in.
if I was creating the world out of my mind, it'd be a much, much cooler place. No, I'm probably stuck in someone else's simulation.
I'm not going to say what went through my mind. Okay.
Okay.
Shut up, Clarion.
Yes, absolutely.
If we accept Descartes, I think, therefore I am, does it logically follow that Trump supporters don't exist?
Nah.
I wish. I wish.
Actually, there's a movie coming out soon with Ryan Reynolds where he discovers that he's an NPC in an MMO. And it looks interesting. I kind of want to
jeez.
see it.
Purple
What's
with
an
your last.
MMO?
A massively multiplayer online game.
Okay.
And with
Yeah.
your last reference there, Purple, though, you have the Descartes, or you have the Cartesian cogito ergo sum. That does not necessarily imply sum ergo cogito.
Yeah, I know. I know it's a
So,
logical fallacy.
there's
It's
where
a good
the-
joke.
There's where the Trump supporters come in.
Yes, the logical opposite is not necessarily true.
Yeah.
You know, I came up with something that I thought was clever, and naturally, of course, someone else thought of it way before I did, was instead of cogito ergo sum, I said cogito ergo zoom. And someone said, there was a car racing show where that was the slogan. And I'm like, God damn it. Every time I come up with something cool, someone else has already done it.
Uh-huh.
Well, have they, Kate, or is it that at some point in the future you will invent a time machine and they will rip it off from you?
Nah, if I invent a time machine sometime in the future, it'll be different. I'll do more than that when I shape
go-
the rest of the world.
Okay, then.
Like if I had a time machine, I'd go back and I would stop them nailing up Jesus, because there will be no Messiah on my watch, bitches.
So how? But there's a lot of people who question whether Jesus really existed. It might be a fruitless effort to go back and do all of that.
Oh, I don't know. I think there'll be plenty of fruits.
Yeah. Well,
Well, I mean, come on. Jesus hung out with 12 other dudes. You think that when the Romans did it was the only time he got nailed? I don't think so.
There's
A
another
relevant
one for
screen
the
share
highlight
here.
reel.
That's funny.
But yeah, there's the one SJ did this morning. That was a riot.
Mhm.
That the was or wait, no, it wasn't SJ. I'm sorry, it was AIG. That the edict issued by Claudius Caesar about nobody shall steal bodies proves the resurrection. It's like, what the hell?
Oh yeah, because there's a law against something, that thing
Yeah.
will never happen. That's why bank robberies never happen. That's why
Right,
murderers
right.
never happen. That's why nothing ever gets stolen. Gets
Right,
stolen.
absolutely. Yeah.
You see, if morality was objective, there wouldn't be a need for these laws. Everybody would be following them and knowing them. So, objective morality.
Well,
Nichts sein kann, was
I don't
nicht
know. There are plenty
sein
of
darf.
objective things that we don't know about, I'm sure.
Oh yeah.
Well, there are plenty
So,
of
I mean,
things I
even if
object to.
morality
Does
is
that count?
objective, that doesn't mean we have access to it.
Well, I've
Yeah.
asked a number of theists for examples of an objective moral value that I guess would apply across the entire cosmos, and none has been able to provide me with one. I would think that if it's objective, it should be universal, shouldn't it?
Oh, well, see,
should
here's
be.
the thing. I know an objective moral truth.
Okay.
I can provide you one. It's no fat chicks. Kidding.
I know.
Yeah,
I
come
know
on.
a guy who prefers overweight women.
Oh, there's plenty of folks out there like that. In fact, I have some true friends from back in, like, my childhood who ballooned up to like 300 plus pounds and found the fat fetish community. And now that's their go-to for getting relationships. So,
Wow.
Well, I have always preferred
Okay.
larger women myself.
Maybe I'm doing it wrong by trying to lose weight. I don't know.
well, I mean, I do think there's a Goldilocks zone. There's definitely tolerance.
Well, yeah.
For fitness and fatness, there's definitely a range.
Okay, yeah.
Well, and different people are healthy at different weights. I'm not one, for necessarily the bigger the better.
Well,
And
okay, there was
basically all of the women that I've lived with have wound up losing weight once I take over the cooking.
well, there.
What, is it
I
that
mean, there
bad?
was this whole family. I don't know if it was genetic or if they were just eating garbage. But back when I was in school, there was this one family that was enormous. I mean, morbidly obese doesn't even describe it. But one of them, he got his stomach stapled and lost all the weight, and now he's the size of a regular person. And it doesn't look right. Like, there's something about his face that needed the fat, and now he looks creepy. And it's just weird to me that happens.
Or you're
Yeah,
just not
there's-
used to seeing him that way. Still,
I mean, it's possible. If I had just seen him cold without ever having known him when he was the Michelin Man,
Yeah.
it might have been okay. But now I look at him and something in my brain is having cognitive dissonance.
Well, there's a case I know of where a woman was extremely large, like 400 something pounds. And the whole thing was, you've got to lose weight, you've got to lose weight. And Medicare said, okay, we'll pick it up. So she got her stomach stapled and everything else, and she lost a whole shitload of weight. Then she had a shitload of skin hanging everywhere to the point where she couldn't walk because she was tripping over her own skin. But will anybody pick up the tab? Hell no.
Well,
Did
the
you
thing
wait
is,
too
though,
quickly?
you can actually donate that extra formerly fat skin to, like, burn victims and shit.
which is a wonderful.
Really? I didn't know that. I
Oh,
didn't know
yeah,
that.
you can totally do that.
I knew a woman in Minnesota who had that. She had the stomach surgery, and she lost like 150 pounds. And, so several months after that, then they did a separate surgery to remove all the extra skin.
Yeah,
And
but
yeah,
did
they
she
did
have
mention about that it was
Did she-
that it could be used for skin grafts for other people.
I mean,
Yeah,
it
but
wouldn't
did-
even
did she have
shock
to
me
do it out of
discover
pocket?
that the people who need the skin grafts would pay for the surgery to get your folds.
Yeah, that was the whole thing with her. They said, well, no, this is cosmetic surgery. It's like, but she can't walk. She can't take one step. step without tripping her over her own skin, for Christ's sake.
That's bureaucrats for you.
Yeah, how do you like that one? You know, that's medicine in the U.S. That's not medicine. It's medical coverage in the U.S. You know.
Yeah.
Messed up.
I don't know though. I'm a bit wary of donating anything medically like that. Just because, like if you donate a kidney, you're a hero. If you donate 5, you're a psychopath who needs counseling. It's like when you donate blood, they ask all those personal questions like, whose blood is this and where did you get it?
Orla would be enjoying this conversation right about now, I think.
This is the interesting thing. I haven't looked lately. I don't even know if I would be allowed to donate blood anymore.
In Canada here, they'll take tainted blood because they use it for research now.
Okay.
So
because I can guarantee you that
I donate regularly, by the way. I do that with Neil.
See, now I have Tainted Love in my head. That song.
Tainted Love.
Tainted Blood. Anyway. So.
Yeah, I mean, there are very, very
Love
few
you.
people, very, very few people who are at lower risk for any sexual transmitted diseases than I am.
Anyway, if you get a tune stuck in your head, I got the ultimate cure for that. Just
hammer?
Just start
Where
humming.
my brain went.
Just start
It's a
humming.
small world after all.
Come, chameleon.
Yeah, but see, the problem is that the solution to getting a song out of your head is always to replace it with another song.
But at least
Even
it's different.
if it's a song you like.
Well, but see, the problem is I don't want a song I like stuck in my head because, when you overplay something and you start to hate it, like to this day, I cannot listen to the theme song to Battlestar Galactica because it was stuck in my head for so long. I'm sick to death of it.
Oh, jeez. Okay.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it's the nature of addiction, it seems, that you never get rid of an addiction. You just replace it with something hopefully less harmful.
Sometimes I wonder about that, though. Because when I started having food-triggered seizures, it was really easy to give up caffeine. I didn't like it, but I didn't, have to. But then again, I've had doctors tell me that I don't have an addictive body chemistry, that even when I'm taking things that some people might be addicted to, I won't end up that way without a lot of abuse.
Okay.
Yeah, I have to say I'm speaking from an observational standpoint because I've never really had anything that would be considered an addiction. I've had periods where I get obsessed with things, but never actually an addiction.
What's really interesting...
Now that I can have caffeine, I might crack this open, so...
There you go. What's really interesting is that I've dealt with a bunch of substances, that whole thing. And the only one to which I was addicted, I guess they would say I still am, nicotine.
Really? I
Yes,
would have got coffee with you.
I still have the cravings, especially when I'm under stress. I mean, coffee, if I go without it, I'll have the headaches, but...
But you're always talking about how you would drink like 3 pots of coffee a day. I would have thought coffee would be your addiction.
Well, I do have the withdrawal headaches if I go without. But the thing is, it's possible for me to go without. And then, like the next morning is, I have this headache. Oh, that's why. Yeah. But the nicotine, that was the big one. As I say, I still have the cravings, under stress especially. But I've made it a year and a half. And, there's no way I'm going to ruin that record. So, it was a matter of, I had tried a number of times to wean myself off. None of it ever worked. But this time it was cold turkey. It was like, okay, Clarion, it's time. Okay, you do not want to smoke. And then every time after that, I'd get a craving and say, hey, Clarion, remember when you said you didn't want to smoke? You meant it.
Does anyone remember the anti-smoking commercials?
Oh boy, do I!
No, a specific one. A specific one, though, where it was animated, and it was this character. He was an anthropomorphic cigarette named Nick, a teen. The
Yeah, I
teenager
think I
named
remember
Nick.
those.
Yeah.
The other one I remember is Gary Trudeau doing that cartoon cigarette in his Doonesbury strips.
Never
And
liked Doonesbury. It felt like a way too political and taking it way too seriously version of Bloom County. And I know Bloom County came after, but Bloom
Yeah.
County felt like if you wanted Doonesbury but fun and actually funny, here it is.
Oh, I'm with you. Absolutely. That was my take on it as well. I did like Doonesbury, but nowhere near as much as Bloom County.
I've still got an Opus plushie.
All right.
Never
Yes.
had a Bill the Cat, though.
Bill the Cat, yeah.
I'm sure some of us have actually been had by Bill the Cat.
Well, you remember when they replaced his brain with Donald Trump?
Yes.
Of course,
That
now
was-
he can grab himself by the pussy. Just saying.
There you go. Oh my! I'm trying to remember. Was that close to the end of the Bloom County lifetime? Or
It probably started, I want to say, at the very beginning of the last quarter. Like at the very end of the 3 of 4,
okay?
So, yeah. So,
What I really like though about Bloom County is watching the characters evolve.
well, the art style certainly changed from the beginning to the end.
Did it ever? Yeah.
Oh, I like the whole art style all the way through. This is quite nice.
But it still evolved.
Bill the Cat always looked a mess.
Well,
Always. And Opus, the change in Opus from day one to day last. And I'm trying to remember. Opus was originally Binkley's pet penguin, right?
mhm.
Yeah. Okay.
He thought it was a dog, and his dad kind of corrected him. But I mean, Opus used to have an actual beak, and then it
Yes,
somehow turned
yes.
into a nose.
Yeah, I think Burke did a retrospective on that one at one point on a Sunday or something, where panel after panel you watched Opus's honker get larger and larger.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember if I have all of the books or if I missed one, at least in the Bloom County series.
I have them all, but they're so old that some of them have had pages fall out, and
Okay. Now, I no longer have the tear out record that came with Billy and the Boingers.
I have the songs on MP3 though.
Okay.
Yeah,
You
it's not
stink,
that.
but I love you, and
I'm a boinger. I thought
Yes.
I'm a boinger was better than you stink, but I hurt you. But still, yeah.
Oh, scheiße.
And now that we've left everyone else in the dust, I mean, did any of you actually read Bloom County?
Yep. But I didn't keep up with it. It was a good one, though.
Sundays. I loved Sundays with Portnoy and
Hodgepodge.
Christ, what was that's it?
Hodgepodge.
I could not remember the rabbit's name, but yeah, okay, there you go.
Yeah. And it's kind of weird how certain characters just sort of disappeared without any fanfare.
Uh-huh.
I don't know. Like, what was her name? Bobby Harlow?
Okay, yeah.
Just like disappeared out of nowhere.
She's the one that married Opus, right?
Opus.
No. That was oh shit, I forget her name, but no, Bobby Harlow was the one that like Steve was always after.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I think she might have been the school teacher.
Oh, Okay.
And then there was also Yaz Pistachio. She disappeared too.
Oh man, I had totally forgotten about that name.
Yeah. Oh, I think Lola Granola is the one you're thinking of.
Yes.
Yes. Ah, man, I can't believe I remember all that.
The unlikeliest couple ever. Well, almost, but
Well, what you gonna do?
yeah. There's the. I'm seeing the flat panel television over there, and ahead of me on the going out line.
What a picture, eh?
I love it. No, there was someone who bought a flat screen television, and I'm looking at it, and I'm thinking, where the heck would I even put it in here?
Mine's mounted on a wall.
I was in a debate recently with Deflating Atheism, and in the background he has this TV that looks like it's out of the 1980s, and it's a CRT screen. And people in the chat were commenting about it and wondering if the whole thing was actually just a rerun.
Well, I was watching a movie from 1989, Earth Girls Are Easy. And
I remember that.
At one point, Gina Davis is destroying all of her boyfriend's stuff, and she sets up a couple of skis and rolls a bowling ball into his monochrome CRT monitor.
Oh my!
Yeah.
But which monochrome was it? Was
It was
the
green
black?
and black.
Okay.
Those green ones are sought after even today. People still want those.
What about the amber ones, though?
I was just about to ask.
They were mass produced and they were horrible. They'd flicker all the time. Nobody cared. But the green ones were really wanted. They're a lot easier on the eyes than the amber ones.
Well, there was a computer I had, a really ancient PC, where the screen was integrated into the case, and it was about this big.
I had one of those as well. Yeah.
Wow.
That was called a
was it
luggable
one of those-
computer.
Was it one of those compact computers where you
I
felt
don't
the
remember
front
the
Had
brand.
the keyboard. Yep, keyboard protected the screen.
Yeah, because you put it into the yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I had one of those.
I remember.
decent
God,
machine.
they must have weighed, like half a hundredweight or something like that. They were
It was heavy. I
large
had
enough.
DOS 3 on it, and
Okay. At least it was DOS 3.
yeah,
My
3.
dad had an ancient Apple computer, a Macintosh, with a monochrome screen.
Oh, that's
Black
not
and white.
ancient. You want ancient, you go Apple IIe.
Hey, you were an Apple slob. I was a Commodore 64 guy.
Oh, I could not
I had one
convince
of
my
those
parents.
too.
Could not convince my parents to buy me a C64. They went with a trash 80 Coco 2 instead.
Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that.
I know.
Awful.
I had a C64 as well, and before that we had a Video Pack 7000.
I've never even
Philips
heard of
video-
that.
Video Pack 7000. That was more of a gaming console, really.
Okay.
I see if I can find a picture of it.
Well, that's why my parents wouldn't buy me a C64, is because they thought I'd only play games with it. Never mind that that's what I did with my Trash 80, except for those few times when I tried to program in BASIC. But because it didn't have a disk drive and I could never make the tape recorder drive work, I could never save what I programmed.
Oh man.
I know, right?
So in the US, it and probably also Canada, it was marketed under the name Magnavox Odyssey.
Still don't know
Oh,
it.
now I
Still
know
don't
what you're
know it.
talking about. Yes.
Oh, you know that one? Found a picture of it here. I'll throw it up on the screen. Just a sec.
Did anybody here have a Sinclair?
I had a Sheridan. Sorry, bad reference.
Okay.
I was
Unless you'd
fortunate,
unless you'd-
fortunate in elementary school. Oh, there we go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I remember the Magnavox Odyssey. This was actually a machine I had wanted to get, and I just couldn't afford it at the time.
Oh God, I remember those crap ass joysticks though.
Yeah.
Like I remember
where's-
they didn't have anything that would make them snap back into the center, so it was really difficult to navigate sometimes.
Those were awful. Yeah.
I don't remember them as such. I remember I had a really hard time getting used to the C4.
The what?
a C64 joystick after using these.
Yeah,
I don't remember the last time I had it.
Okay, wait a minute. Here's the.
Depends which model you got,
yeah.
but the most common one was quite good. I was fortunate in elementary school. The principal noticed I was really liking computers, and so they had 3 Commodore 64s in the adult ed center, and he arranged for me to have time on it after school for an hour if I wanted it. And I went every day and taught myself computer programming, and then I got to the limits of BASIC and moved on to machine language. It's all right in the manual.
All right.
Egad, machine language.
And then
Oh,
in the middle of
man.
grade 6, I was breaking copy protection on games. It was great.
Back in the late 80s, early 90s, I actually ran a dial-up Wares BBS.
Oh, what was it called?
The Academy.
I don't recognize the name, but maybe because I'm up in
Pretty
Canada.
much exclusive to Vermont.
Okay,
In fact, it was pretty much exclusive to Chittenden County, Vermont.
because I would have uploaded lots of stuff there if I was a member.
Well, eventually I had to put a ban on porn because that's all people wanted to upload. Because it was one of those BBSs where you have to upload to earn credits to be able to download.
Which
Right.
software were you running?
Oh, Teleguard.
Oh, Teleguard. Okay.
Yeah, and so people kept uploading porn and downloading games, and I wanted them to upload games. So, I had to put a ban on porn.
Yep. Well, it's unfortunate, but that's how it goes. Mind you, if they were paying for access to your system, that wouldn't have been a problem, would it?
Well, they weren't paying for access. They
Yeah.
were, yeah. It was a barter system, is what it was.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
Most of them were like that. Because otherwise, people only leech. Yeah.
I found
My
out
birthday isn't coming up until July, but if
Happy birthday
anybody's
in
looking
advance.
for a present for me, I'm dropping a link in the side chat.
a Magnavox Odyssey.
No, they are selling a retro version of the Commodore 64.
Wow.
Oh my.
Well, I hope it at least hooks up to something other than a television set.
Well, it has like 4 USB ports, so
Okay. You know how they have released, I want to say it's an Atari, but it might be an NES, that basically has like a drive in it that has all of the games.
Oh, yeah, I've seen those.
yeah.
Yeah, so I mean,
Sloth Girl says
it
that
would be
is an
really cool
NES,
if
and
the
that Sega is also
C64
coming out with one.
Like if the C64 retro thing had the games preloaded.
Oh no, because then he couldn't type in code.
I'm just saying.
Well, this one, the C64, has games. It has like 50 games preloaded,
Okay.
but it also does still have the original BASIC, so you can write your own programs in it.
Mm-hmm.
And besides the C64, it also has a VIC-20 mode, so it will run the older VIC-20 games.
Or you could just get an emulator and download the 25,000 plus titles yourself.
Well, that too.
The guy
is
who
what I
reviewed
did,
it said
yeah.
that this is actually much better than an emulator for running the games.
That sounds like sales to me. I don't know how it could be better. Yeah,
No.
device
No,
emulators,
this
top
is
of the
just
line.
reviewed by an independent guy on YouTube. He's not
Okay.
getting any kickback for it.
No.
It is funny to me that 64K was so amazing back in the day.
What? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
The one
Like I
I
remember the first time I had 2 megabytes of RAM in a computer, and it was amazing.
okay
Yeah.
then. And the
I was
computer.
thinking, wow,
I
they
really-
do so much with this.
Yeah, Sloth Girl was responsible for helping me type in a lot of the programs from the magazines.
Did you ever
Oh
type
gosh,
in
I
the one-
remember those.
Did you ever type in the one from Mad Magazine?
No.
No, I
That was-
never knew that.
That was probably the first cross-platform open source software out there, and it was in the 80s, and they had all the data statements were the same, but the program to draw from the data statements was different depending which computer you're using, and they
What did
covered
it
Commodore
do?
64 and others. Oh, all it did was draw a picture of Alfred E. Newman on the
I
screen.
figured.
Frozen.
Yeah.
Did anyone ever use the program called Logo?
Yep.
Yeah.
I remember that one.
The only thing I remember was programming it to draw a caterpillar.
Hey, you did pretty good then.
Eh,
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
those were fun times.
Yeah.
yeah,
There's,
same,
there's-
same old Apple II,
I probably have a
2E
silver
that
one.
would do Oregon Trail.
Yeah, you should tune into the stream tomorrow night just to take a look at Purple's header picture. Now that you've mentioned Oregon Trail, I won't say any more though.
Anyway,
Maybe
I'm
a
going
card
to.
game out of that. There's like a board game of Oregon Trail, but I think it's just cards.
Okay, there was
I saw
video
a
game called Oregon
spoof of
Trail.
it called Oregon Trail, which when someone else died, you could harvest their organs to keep yourself alive longer.
Well,
All
I've got
right.
a
Yeah,
card
very
game. It's sort of like a hidden role game, much like Secret Hitler, called Donner Dinner Party.
Secret Hitler. Okay,
You've never played Secret Hitler? Oh my gosh, that game is so much fun.
never heard of it.
It's pretty wacky.
Yeah.
The whole idea is there's liberals and fascists, and one of the
I've got a
fascists is
shitload of
Hitler.
stuff to do this week.
And so you have to figure out who Hitler is, unless you're one of the fascists, in which case you have to get him elected chancellor. It's a crazy game. It's a lot of fun. It's yeah.
The way you're describing it sounds like it's fun.
It's similar to Werewolf and Werewords, if you've ever played those.
Okay, my kids played Werewolf and they did pretty good.
Okay.
They enjoyed
Anyway,
it.
I'm going to leave the stream now. I have a video to edit, and I don't think my machine can do both things at once. It's already getting hot now. So, see you all.
All right.
Have
Take care,
fun.
Hopswatch. Great
I-
chatting with
Take
you.
care, sweetness.
I have a bunch of like stuff to make an unboxing video. There's more over here, but I decided to do this instead. You're welcome, or I'm sorry, whichever.
Aw.
But at some
Unboxing
point, I
video.
should probably eat more than just these celery sticks, so I may have to go soon.
Well, I'll tell you, it's nice to be on air with Kate on a venue that is not Coffee with Lavender. To see us together somewhere else. I mean, what's really bad is a few times here we're starting to think like each other, Kate. This could be trouble.
Are we?
Well,
I need an example.
almost finishing each other's sentences, that sort of shit, or coming up with the same ideas at the same time.
Well, I think we did that before we ever met, frankly.
Okay, that could be.
You know, it's pretty rare for you to come up with something that I haven't agreed with before I ever met you.
Okay.
So,
And
So
yeah, that
everything
is
she
the
came
day.
up with before you met, you disagree with?
I'm trying to think. Oh, yeah, mayonnaise. Ugh. In fact, pretty much your entire dietary repertoire I find repulsive.
Well,
Well-
yeah, I grew up in an Eastern European household. We ate just about anything.
Mhm. You know, it's like yak intestine stew. And I'm like, no,
Not-
sorry.
Tripe is
Oh.
right out. That is one thing I will not eat. It's like chewing on an inner tube. Oh,
Yeah.
God.
Well, just the fact that it used to be used for waste disposal, like processing, whatever, just makes me go, no. You know, I am not going to eat any creature's digestive system, just plain not going to happen.
Yeah, I was taking care of a friend's dogs while he was out of town. And he fed them tripe. And it's like, I couldn't get past the smell just to put it in the dog's dish. I don't know how anyone could actually cook the stuff.
Although, you know,
man.
I remember there was a time when, after watching more than my fair share of Monty Python, I got curious what Spam was like. And I remember
Okay.
opening the can and going, this smells like cat food. Ah. And what is that nasty looking translucent, almost yellow gel surrounding the meat? No. So, yeah.
Unfortunately, every third year, which will be this summer, my family has a huge family reunion. And one of the featured events is the Spamorama.
Oh my word!
which is basically a cooking contest of people trying to find interesting ways to use spam.
Yeah.
I don't know that they're. Well,
It does smell like cat food. Actually,
Yeah,
that's
it
that's an astute observation.
It basically is cat food. Basically, spam is all the leftover trimmings from after they've made the hams and all the pork products. This is like the pile they had left over, they throw in the grinder and force it into a can.
Yep.
Well, it reminds me of one of the Grand Theft Auto games. They have the radio stations, and one of the commercials was for Splat, which stands for Spreadable Lips, Anuses, and Teats. And like the slogan is, remember, if it spits, craps, or squirts, it's in there.
Well, spam is basically the stuff that Hormel decided was too low a grade to put in the hot dogs.
That tells you something, doesn't it?
Yeah. So, I mean, I could go the rest of my life and die happy, never again trying spam.
I don't know. I used to fry the stuff and put it between two slices of bread and eat it, but
Now,
haven't done that in a
actually,
long time.
yeah, to be fair, if you fry it, it's not too different from some breakfast sausage.
It's actually quite good.
You know, so having it fried next to some eggs and toast is acceptable.
It is quite good
I'll
that way.
skip it. I'll skip it. I'd rather have actual ham, thank you.
Yeah, well, if you fry it, it gets rid of that, weird yellow gelatinous stuff you were complaining
Well,
about.
it doesn't
And it'll store for
matter.
a
It
long
still doesn't taste good even fried, in my never humble opinion.
It also stores for a long time, so it's a kind of a convenient thing to include in a survival kit, I suppose.
Yeah.
there you go. Yeah.
Okay, maybe
Yeah,
I'm
they have
weird.
found spam in the Egyptian pyramids that was still edible.
Maybe I'm weird
What
on
product
this
that is?
on this particular point, mind you. I know I'm weird other ways, but I actually enjoy MREs, the meals ready to eat, the military issue kits of food. Like I've had the opportunity to have two of them, and both of them I found quite enjoyable. Like I hear people bitching about them when they're actually in the military. I think they're tasty.
I've never had one, so I couldn't tell you. I would
Oh,
try one.
Well, I
I've
mean,
had
it's
'em
very
because
high
my-
calorie. I think it's something crazy like 3,000, 4,000 calories. And you can tell because it's got like chocolate bars and like squeezable Velveeta that goes on stuff and like lots of meat, like meatloaf and shit. And it's so like, I mean, if you eat one, you'll probably put on a pound. But
Yeah.
I mean, it's actually quite tasty, probably because it's junk food.
Yeah,
Well, my
pound-
uncle
pound
was
is
a supply
3,500
officer for the
calories.
National Guard. So he would bring home the ones that, believe it or not, had reached an expiration date. Which
So they were
generally
from
meant
what,
They were
World War
15
II?
to 20 years old.
Yeah.
So yeah, my cousins always had those around.
So, I mean, if I'm going to have a survival kit, I'll skip the spam and just buy a bunch of MREs. Because you can go to like an Army Navy store and get them if you want them.
No, they're probably
I-
quite healthy.
I don't even know where the nearest surplus store is to me, but I know there's got to be one around here somewhere.
Someone mentioned pyramids earlier.
Yeah.
I must be missing
what are
a
you doing,
reference to
and why are
something.
you doing it?
Personally, I'm kind of on the same page with Orla that my survival kit is having stupid neighbors.
All right then.
Oh, now you're talking cannibalism. Oh boy.
Look, I would much sooner eat one of my neighbors than I would my cat. I don't eat friends.
Well, I mean, I've eaten a couple of my exes, but that's different. Oh, jeepers.
Well, yes, that too.
Yeah.
Speaking of stupid neighbors, there you go.
Yeah,
That one's at
you
least
know,
clever.
I mean, I've mentioned this on a couple of Diana's shows, but like in high school, I was accused of anorexia and or bulimia because I was like just wafer thin. the whole time. And like I would tell people, you just saw me eat a burger the size of my own head, and we hung out with each other for 3 hours. You know, I didn't wharf it up. So I just have a weapons grade metabolism, a
Yeah.
blast furnace. That has since been a little bit less, but still.
I had that until I was about 45. That from the time I was like in junior high until I was in my mid 40s, I weighed about 140, 150 pounds.
How tall though?
5'9".
Oh, hey, we're about the same height. Yeah, I was pretty similar. I think actually part of it, besides just youth, was how much caffeine I was consuming, because it is an appetite suppressant, and it probably revs your metabolism, I would imagine. And so, I think that was just part of it, because now that I've been drinking caffeine again, after the head meats were repaired, I seem to be losing weight without trying.
Well,
I envy you.
Well,
I had always believed for me, I read an article once that said that people who fidget could burn off up to 700 calories a day. And I have Tourette's syndrome, which, causes all sorts of random muscle spasms. So I think that's probably about the same. So I wonder if I started putting on weight because they started giving me meds to suppress the muscle spasms.
Who knows?
Interesting idea.
so if you have like a compulsion to fire projectile weapons, if you can't stop shooting guns, do you have Tourette's syndrome? All right, I'll just be over here.
However, many years ago when one of my family reunions was coming up, I did start working on designs to fit my Chevy Suburban with one of the pom-pom guns from the amphibious landing crafts.
Do you mean pontoon or really pom-pom?
No, they had a dual turret gun they called the pom-pom gun because the two guns fired alternately.
Oh, see, I'm picturing pom-poms like cheerleaders.
No.
Okay.
No, I just have way too many relatives, and it just...
Were those the...
I think cutting the number by half would be a good thing, at least.
Were those the 50 cals?
Yeah, mostly they were anti-aircraft guns.
Oh, okay, a little bit larger than 50. Okay.
But I'm reminded of one of my favorite jokes is, do Jewish revolutionaries and terrorists throw Mazel Tov cocktails?
L'chaim!
Just remember, if Trump gets reelected, you know nothing about flamethrowers.
No, nothing. I don't even know what one is.
Oh boy.
Oh, dear
Lord.
God. The only thing missing on this guy is a MAGA hat.
Yeah.
No kidding. He's got the blue Democrat color going there. It's very confusing.
Well, it's interesting that he's got the padding there that the the kickback from the gun is not a problem at all.
Yeah, it keeps getting hammered with the slide. I mean, it's got to hurt, right? No, huh?
Well, I guess he's padded.
I wonder if he's going to have a bruise there when he's done.
Yeah, you got to wonder. You really have to wonder. Now, every now and then, I know I'm just insane. I will actually look at some of the gun videos and firearm videos, and God, these guys.
Okay.
There's Randolph.
I was here the whole time. I saw my picture disappear.
Weird.
So.
Yeah, I just saw you go down for a minute. Okay, I think we need to backtrack a bit because I wasn't following the side chat, but did we actually say something that made Orla nauseous?
I don't know.
Oh, no.
What's in the side chat? Orla's got that like green sick face, and it's like I can't imagine what we would have said that would have put her off.
10 minutes
It's
ago.
probably from the spam talk, I would imagine.
Oh, okay.
Oh, there's an interesting question from Doc. Do Jewish ninjas use throwing stars of David?
Yes. I'm saying yes. I just don't think there are any. I mean, seriously, do you think there are any Jewish ninjas out there?
Oh man, I don't know. The Jewish grandmother sitting in the dark.
Oh man. Yeah. Yenta sama. But
At 14, I
the
had
thing
to
is,
dodge
though,
one of those.
when Jewish people learn a martial art, it's clearly judo or
Yes.
jiu-jitsu.
Oh wow. I love this picture. It's
Yeah.
Yeah. That was a good one.
Or is that just the cat in the wooden mask?
Oh boy, I love that.
That's a
I don't know.
cat.
For some reason, what went through my head is like it puts the cat food in the dish or it gets the hose again.
Oh, oh wow.
I don't know.
Uh,
I ate the cat food with some fava beans and a nice Chianti.
oh boy.
Oh boy,
Well, now that Ninja Mode is engaged, I should probably head off because I have some actual work to do here. So
Yeah, I've got tons of actual work to do, and unfortunately, part of it interrupted, and I think I missed half of my own stream here.
Oh,
Oops.
Well, Sloth Girl came in with a whole bunch of news and another half a list of things that have to be done by Friday.
hopefully good news.
Well, you know, it's all having to do with the move, but it's like there is so much shit piling up that, yeah, I'm not going to be online a lot, but I'm going to try to, you know, keep things going at least my regular times.
Now, have you reserved a truck yet, or are you going to wait a little while before you do that?
Well, I was about to reserve a truck, and now I've got another little hiccup as far as when we can get the keys for the apartment, so
Oh no!
I've got to
now
talk
what?
to the building manager again to make sure that we're lined up to be arriving on the same day that we're going to be able to get the keys.
So, if you get one with a loved one, though, wouldn't it be a togetherment?
Yeah, that would be a nice thing. Yeah.
Well, I thought togetherments were, you know, like the row houses that shared the common wall.
Okay, I just found a link to
No,
a Google Chrome extension that will change every picture of Trump to kittens.
Oh yeah, that one. Yes.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Now, here's the thing, though. If you're in a rundown building, that sort of thing, that has only that's one short of 10 units, would that be a ninement? I will go over there and.
No, Diana, you get credit for that one.
Okay.
That is quite good. It's very clever. I do enjoy puns and word games. It's a lot of fun. I always appreciate it. Neologisms and portmanteaus and all that other great stuff.
Mhm.
Make it impossible for people to completely ignore puns.
What I'm trying to remember, isn't portmanteau itself a portmanteau?
Probably.
I'm trying to remember, and oh well, I'll look it up someday if I ever remember after this is over.
Well, take care, folks. Thank you very much for the chat. It was a
Okay, Randolph, thanks. And yes,
Well, take care,
Randolph, your new creation will be posted as the thumbnail for tomorrow night's stream, so
Okay.
everybody should watch for that.
Yeah, had some fun putting something together there. So
Okay.
I'll be watching for that. Take care, Kate. Great to see you again.
Yep, catch you like the plague.
All right. Bye-bye.
Take care, hon. Oh my, oh my.
What just happened here?
Where
Sorry,
went?
my browser just decided to go psycho for a second, and I have to. Oh, there it goes. Okay.
Okay.
Well, your browser decided to go psycho because you use Windows. I mean,
Yeah,
does
no,
that
that's
really need
not
an
it.
explanation?
I don't make me come over there.
No, I use Windows too, but it's kind of, to me, using Windows is very much a hostage situation.
Well, I was trying to post something on Twitter, and it was not so much with the working properly, and there it is.
Okay.
I'm just saying.
Children in disguise. No.
Yes. Yeah. So well, I mean, I'm wearing a everything I need to know. I learned by watching 80s cartoons shirt. So.
Okay. It's a good thing.
Well, I've told the story several times. If it wasn't for 80s cartoons, I would have never found the YouTube community.
Really?
And it's all her fault.
Why?
When I was recovering from surgery, I was scanning YouTube for 80s cartoons, and that's how I found Bionic Dance.
Oh, right
And
on.
once I started watching Bionic Dance, it started suggesting Paula Gia and Vice Rhino and Professor Stick, and well,
Yeah.
that's why I'm in the atheist community now.
Actually, it's pronounced Paloja. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, that's
It's
kinda
not
cool
that it
I
changed
was-
my beliefs any. It's just that I didn't realize there were so many people out there that had similar beliefs.
It's kind of flattering that I'm someone's gateway.
Yep.
So
Yeah, definitely. I wouldn't have been aware of this whole online group if it wasn't for that.
Yeah.
And that was just because I liked the original Transformers and I hate the Michael Bay movies, so I wanted to find the original ones again.
Michael Bay should be strung up by his naughty bits and beaten with hammers.
Yep.
I'm trying to think if he's made even one good movie. Like, I gotta surf to IMDb and see if there's anything he's made that I enjoyed.
His entire tactic is that he keeps distracting people by the gunshots and explosions so they don't realize that there is no story.
Well, and also the lens flares. Let's see here. Robopocalypse. He's making something called Robopocalypse. I don't even want to know.
I don't think I do.
It sounds like he's just ripping off the future scenes from Terminator. But let's see here. Wow, a lot of music videos before he got into movies. Which kind of makes sense, actually. Okay, now we're getting into movies. No. Wait a minute. Did I like that one or not? Am I mixing that up with... No, I hated that one too. Let's see. Nope, he has not directed even one movie I've enjoyed. Not one.
Oh my, that's got to be a record, yeah.
I mean, it's possible even Tim Burton has made a movie I enjoyed, but not Michael Bay. Fucking Tim Burton. I hate him so much, but, I could go into the reasons why, but it would take a whole video, and this is not my stream.
No, I agree with Tim Burton. It's like, I like animation. I find his animation style interesting. But yeah, again, characters and storylines, no.
Well, he's only got a couple of tropes that he always uses, and like all he's ever done is change the setting and the characters, but everything else is exactly the same. He keeps even using the same actors over and over.
Yeah.
Jeez.
And the same author. He seems obsessed with Dahl, which I, never cared for as an author either.
Yeah, I read his books a fair bit, but I didn't think he was all that special. But yeah, so I mean, there are definitely some directors I love and some I absolutely hate. And it seems like, with a few exceptions, the public has gone exactly the opposite way from me in terms of what's good and what's not.
Yeah.
Mind you, there was once, and I love telling this story, one of my favorite directors, Stephen Sommers, slowly progressed from well-written stories and well-directed movies to basically the Michael Bay model of nothing but special effects. And we were watching, I was in the theater watching Van Helsing, and it was barely, like, there was hardly anyone in there. And then at the very end, and spoiler alert, but it's decades old, so if you haven't seen it yet, fuck you. Like, the dead female protagonist, her face goes off into the clouds like she's ascending to heaven or something. And this one dude near the front of the theater goes, "Stupid!" And everyone cheered and clapped, and yeah. So, I mean, that's one of my favorite moments in movie history for me, but it was a bad movie. Ugh, Van Helsing, so terrible. Just saying.
I know I saw Van Helsing. I don't remember much of it.
Oh, it
Didn't
was
remember
so
that
bad.
scene.
It was just one action scene after another, and that's
Yeah.
all there was to it. There was no depth or anything. Like you know how sometimes people bitch about movies being nothing but special effects? This movie did not help the counter argument in any way.
Yeah.
Okay, then.
So, yeah, of course, people used to bitch about movies being nothing but special effects in the 80s. And I'm like, Hollywood is about to say, hold my beer.
Oh, I mean, you know, that was even a complaint about the original Star Wars trilogy.
Oh, yeah, totally. That's kind of why I said the 80s. But I don't know. I look back on movie history, and there was a sweet spot, a Goldilocks zone, where they were using special effects to tell the story rather than instead of a story. Like they hadn't quite realized yet the power of special effects on audiences, and so they were actually still writing decent scripts instead of saying, we'll just toss it to ILM and they'll make it interesting."
Yeah, well, that's when you start with a good script and you have a competent director.
Oh, the sheer number of times I've heard about really great scripts that got executive interference to death.
Oh, yeah.
You know.
Oh, hey, Tria.
Like, actually, not just that. The original, well, I say original, the Superman movies with Christopher Reeve in them were actually originally intended to be fairly serious takes on Superman. But one of the executives at the studio said, no, this is for kids. It's a comedy. And that's why there's a lot of scenes of slapstick in those movies, because the executives took over and said, this is not a serious movie because it's for kids, because it's a superhero flick.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
And then if you ever got the chance to read the comic books, back 50 years ago or whatever it was, they were not for the grade school kids. Definitely not.
Well, but I mean, that's the thing, though, is this prevailing attitude of kids' movies have to be funny. You know, I mean, because I can point to one or two movies clearly marketed to kids that didn't have musical numbers, and even the comedy was just a small aside while the story itself was taking itself seriously. And those were actually genuinely good movies that I loved as a small child. And, looking back at the number of movies that could have been really good if they hadn't been slapsticky musicals.
Yep.
But Hollywood hasn't realized, even now, that there is a cross-generational appeal to animation and that they don't have to make everything into a Disney flick. Japan has realized this, but the United States can't seem to catch on. Oh, it's so
and that was one of the things that Stan Lee said in the very early days when he was running Marvel, that the comic books were not for children, that he felt their main audience was college students.
Yeah, okay.
You know, I remember when I first got into anime before Hollywood found it, and we were watching all kinds of awesome stuff. And then Hollywood realized, wow, this Japanese stuff is actually quite popular. Let's buy a few properties and put them up on American TV. And of course, it was all the little kidsy stuff. You know, Sailor Moon and
that whole
Pokemon and
shit.
Dragon Ball Z and all that shit. I'm like, my experience with anime was more like Akira.
Mm.
And I would really like to see more of that, but no.
Yeah.
How awesome would it be if they could stay either true to the comic book or true to the anime to have a live action Akira?
Well, actually, one of my favorite animated movies is The Last Unicorn. And overall, the whole movie really has a pretty somber tone to it.
Which is why I
there's
didn't
bits
like
of comic relief in it, but yeah.
There are certain cartoons I've found that are just way the frig too grim for my tastes. Like, have you ever seen A Flight of Dragons?
Yeah.
God, that shit's dark.
Yeah, I found that one kind of disappointing. It had more potential than what they did with it.
Well, I can point to a couple of examples of that, not necessarily animated, but like the movie Jupiter Ascending would have made a really good TV series because you could tell that there was tons of back history. There was this whole story that went untold just because of time constraints. And if they had done it as like a television show, it could have been a decent sort of Babylon 5/Dune-esque thing. But because it was a movie, I thought it fell flat because you didn't get a chance to see all that back history.
Okay.
Yeah, I know what
But-
you mean.
Sorry.
Oddly enough, the novel I'm working on right now all grew out of a reference in one chapter of a novel I scrapped. It mentioned the Galactic Alliance and basically that this organization existed. So it's like the novel I'm working on now is this whole thing about the ambassadors from the Galactic Alliance, but it's like in its original form, the whole thing fit into 10 pages.
Yeah. I don't know. There's
I just
something
decided that
I'm
the backstory for that just seemed more interesting than the novel I had been working on.
Well, there's something I'm working on right now where I have ideas, but I would very much like to make them part of a much larger story. And it's taking very nebulous form in my head right now, but it's definitely something I think I could expand upon. Because a lot of the story ideas I have for this particular universe, I'll call it, even though it takes place only in a solar system, a single solar system, they're like the ideas I came up with are more for like little one-shot adventures, and then you move on, almost the way Star Trek does with each episode. But I realize there is potential to tell a much larger story that ties in all of these one-shot adventures in ways that you don't necessarily see at first. Kind of, again, like Babylon 5.
Yeah.
But it's not a fully formed idea, and I'm trying to flesh it out in my head. So...
Snuggly kitty.
Kitty.
My cat hates being on her back like that. She will fight and fight and fight to not be in that particular position.
Sylvia is the second who has actually liked the on the back thing. Miranda was the first. I'd put her on the back and she'd fall asleep in my arms. And then, for the next hour and a half, I'm sitting there with, okay, I really want to get up and go to the crapper, but she's in my arms asleep. So, yeah.
I know that feeling, being pinned down by a lap kitty. Definitely been there.
I had
Oh,
one cat
my.
that got jealous because I had the baby sling to carry Gabby around in. And my cat got so jealous that then I had to start carrying her around in the baby sling while I was doing house chores.
Well,
I-
one of the reasons why I got rid of Ivan was because he was such an attention whore. Where if Columbia was sitting on my lap, Ivan would hop up on the chair and start batting her off my lap so he could take
Oh
her
man,
place.
yeah.
And I was
Yeah.
like, I'm starting to feel like I'm losing touch with the kitty I had before you, Ivan. And so I brought him back to the Humane Society and said, this cat needs a single cat household because otherwise he will be like the worst cat to the other one.
Okay, well, at least you gave them the good heads up on that one.
Oh, they thanked me for it. They were like, that is good info. So
Yeah, I had
but
been
I
trying to
still
get
kind of want to
Sammy
get
and
another second cat.
I'd been trying to get Sammy and Petunia to live together, but Petunia's a bit of a bully and same kind of thing that, yeah, she probably just needs to be a single cat.
Mm-hmm.
She
I
doesn't
think-
really want anybody sharing her space.
Yeah.
I think of a second cat from time to time, and then I'm not sure, what the landlord would think of it, and I'm not sure what Sylvia would think of it.
Mm.
Excuse me. I took her in August of 16, so it's like 3 years already, and has she got accustomed to being the only kitty?
Well,
And
I know that Columbia is okay with another cat. She's a very tolerant of others cat, be they humans or other cats. She's pretty friendly that way. But I don't know.
yeah, what the interesting thing was, well, when the ex took off, she took Ariel with her. Well, those two had bonded. That's cool. Ariel and Winston used to be inseparable. But then one time, still trying to be friends and shit like this, like that ever worked. She said to me, why don't you bring Winston over and, say hi to Ariel, took him over and Ariel tried to kill him. She'd been alone long enough that I guess she decided she liked it. And, she just tried to shred Winston. And it was, okay, we're not going to do this again, are we? Oh,
So,
okay.
Winston, Churchill or Zedmore?
Actually, the ex named him, and the reasoning was, well, he just looks like a Winston.
Oh. I would have been much more impressed if it had been Zedmore.
Okay, then. Well, this is the kitty. I don't know if I've talked about him very much. Gay as a picnic basket.
Really?
He's the only gay cat I've ever known. Not long after he came to live with us, we had already had, 3. And, here's this little kitten. He's like, maybe 8 weeks old or something like that. He's there. And there's this Maine Coon. And then Winston is trying to bang him as soon as he gets home. And it's like, okay, let's take some pictures of this.
Now I have that song in my head. Thank you so much.
Who, what, where, when?
Well, I don't think you've seen How I Met Your Mother, but whenever
Right,
someone
I
was
have.
about to get it on, they would go, I said a bang, bang, bangity bang. I said a bang, bang, bangity bang, boom, 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 bang, bang, bang.
Oh,
Yeah.
jeez.
And, I can't hear the word bang without that ending up in my head.
Okay. God. Oh, man, Merlin was such a sweet kitty.
That's a strange reaction to a gunshot, but okay.
No, I said the word bang, not hearing the sound that the
Yeah.
word represents. Don't make me come over there.
Well, I suppose that, it,
But
it
you
helps
never
that you're a
threatened to come
lesbian,
over
then, that
here.
the word bang doesn't come up much in relationships.
I have too threatened to come over there, and you know it.
I'm giving you a hard time. Oh, my. But, geez, yeah, it's the kitties that have had me. Oh, well.
Yeah.
Winston was just so grateful to be in the house. We had found, or a friend of Melody's had found him and his mother under a porch, in the middle of winter. Mom died. He barely hung on with kitty pneumonia. Um, and he was just so grateful to have food in the bowl and warmth and lap. Oh my God, he would just drape, the way Maine Coons will, over the lap and everything like this. But unfortunately, acute kidney failure took him at the age of 3.
I don't think that kidney failure could possibly be cute.
And not in this case, it wasn't. But no, it was one day it was fine, and the next day everything went to hell, and it was diagnosed as kidney failure.
Yeah, in cats it can be very sudden that by the time you notice any symptoms, it can be too late.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
maybe those kidneys should have studied harder.
Probably, yes.
Because, then they wouldn't fail. I'll just be over here.
Tell that to mine, would you?
How come, like, when you get older, they're not adult knees?
I don't know. I really don't know why that works that way, but they really should
it's
be.
probably better because I have adult knees now, and they
You can
often
barely
get very
stand up.
stiff, and some
Heyo.
days they don't want to support my weight.
I tell you, it's going up a flight of stairs. You realize how old you are. You're walking homes in the summer sun, and you're feeling like you're 35, and hey, everything's cool. And then you come up those stairs, and it's like, oh yeah, I'm not 35, am I?
See, I find stairs quite easy. It's hills that I can't do.
Okay.
Yeah, I know that's kind of weird. I think it's just something about like the kind of stepping you have to do, but hills kill me.
Okay.
I'm guessing that probably has to do less with your knees and maybe your ankle joints, because they have to be at a different angle for a sloped hill.
Honestly, I think it's just that my thighs aren't as well in shape as they ought to be.
Not going there.
Oh, hush you.
Oh my.
But I don't know.
Okay, Tria is talking about what's HIMYM?
How I Met Your Mother.
Oh, okay. Right.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's true the last season was not that great, and I understand why people were really grouchy with the final episode, but I still enjoyed it to a degree. It just wasn't as ideal as it ought to have been.
I saw random episodes. I never made an attempt to really watch it on a regular basis.
Oh, it's a great show. I would highly recommend it.
And Orla is absolutely right, or at least for me, going downhill is more stressful than going up.
Well, then that explains why it's not my joints that are having the trouble.
Okay. Going downhill is not a stress on your joints. You just curl up in a ball and no problem.
Yeah. There's a thing there, and to this day, I still don't know if it really happened or if it's a manufactured memory, but I have a memory of being in a tire rolling downhill. And
I did that.
Kind of fun, but I can't associate it with anything else. There's no record of it, and did I really do that, or is it just a manufactured memory?
I have totally done that. I was still like probably less than 8 years old, but I have totally done that.
I've never done it myself, but I've seen it on TV enough times.
I don't remember it being all that fun.
From what I've seen on TV, it usually doesn't end up well.
Well, I mean, if you're tucked into it well enough, when it finally tips over, you don't get any of your limbs squashed.
Well, that's assuming that simply tips over and doesn't run into a rock or a pole or something like that.
Well,
Ooh.
I mean, yeah, I guess, but the hill that we were doing this on might have had a few bushes, but it definitely didn't have trees or poles.
Okay, because there was this was at uni first time. We nipped a bunch of cafeteria trays on one of the very few winter days when it snowed in Marietta, Ohio. It was an event whenever it snowed, but we took the cafeteria trays down the hill from the math building down toward the tennis courts. Just rode these things. And of course, there would be a pole, part of the fence. And guess who hit it with her hip? And you know how far down the street you could hear her screaming. Well, he at the time, but that sort of thing.
Yeah, well, I figured that part out.
Yeah, the Tylenol 3 did a fairly decent job. Tylenol plus codeine. That was one of the very, very few times codeine ever did anything for me.
Yeah, I have never in my entire life had a painkiller actually kill pain. It's never worked, ever.
Okay. The morphine after my ankle was surgically set actually did work.
I take it back. I've never had over-the-counter painkillers kill pain.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Of course not.
That's
Yeah.
different. Yeah.
Yeah.
Also,
now-
when they tell you to put ice on like a bruise or a burn or something, it just hurts. I've never had it actually make me go numb. It just hurts.
Well, the idea of putting ice on a bruise, and actually ice isn't the best thing. Putting it in cold water is better. But basically, it's just to pull the heat away so that it damages fewer cells.
Yeah, but they still tell you to do it on bruises. And like a lot of times it's, it'll help the swelling, but it doesn't do anything. It never does.
Mm-hmm.
Can you prove the bruise would not have been worse if you had not done it?
I mean, it doesn't help the pain.
Yeah. No, I know what you mean. I actually went like 15 years that I never took any kind of over-the-counter medicine because I felt that, the results I got from them was just so minimal it wasn't worth bothering.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of the over-the-counter analgesics anyway, but now the NSAIDs are verboten, so there's a lot of them I simply can't take.
So I'm just remembering a scene from Scrubs where they're dealing with people in the emergency room who don't quite understand certain things. Like, he's like, "Okay, ma'am, it's pronounced analgesic. The pills go in your mouth."
Yeah.
Of course, then there was also an episode of House where this woman was saying that her inhaler wasn't working. And he was like, show me how it doesn't work. And she takes it and goes, like it's perfume.
Oh, jeez.
And it's like, it's called an inhaler. It's not Vicks Vapo Rub.
There was an episode of Futurama where they're stuck at the bottom of the ocean, and the professor comes out with this pill that says, this will allow you to breathe the water, and it's like a pill that's like the size of his forearm.
Right.
Yeah, and Fry is saying, I can't swallow that. He says, well, good news. It's a suppository.
Yeah. You know what a great name for a metal band would be? Chainsaw Suppository.
Okay.
Oh.
That
That
works.
sounds like a great name for a bad metal band.
It would get attention, yes.
Yeah. I don't know. Okay, food now. I'll catch you later.
Well, yeah, actually, I've got so much to do. I should probably keep this short, so.
Right.
Okay,
Well,
then.
have
Why don't we
fun.
just wrap
Don't
it up?
get run over.
Well, Kate, did you have anything you wanted to plug before you go?
Um. Oh, you don't mean a bodily hole? Yes. Go subscribe to my YouTube channel because if you don't, you eat yellow snow. It's Bionic Dance. You'll love it. Trust me. Yeah. Also, no, I'm not going to go there.
Oh,
All right. Have
by the
fun.
way, I saw the
The playlist.
alt-right playbook last night, and
Yeah.
oh my, I'm going to do that one again just to make sure I caught everything.
This is what I'm saying. Great series. Anyway, I'll catch you later.
Okay.
Take care, hon.
Bye.
Hey, Tria, you popped in
Tria.
just as I was thinking I'm going to wrap this up.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. With the moving, I've got just so much stuff to do. I'm going to have to keep these short.
Yeah, that makes sense. Well, if you need to cut off, then that's fine. Don't worry about it.
Well, that's okay. Did you have anything you wanted to say or plug? Or
No, because I keep promising a video and then stuff keeps happening. So it'll
Yep.
happen someday, maybe, when my
Having
cold
to deal
is
with real life
stop
kind of
trying to kill
sucks.
me. Well, I went to the Ren Fair and caught one of the nastiest colds I've ever had. I've been sleeping around 14 to 20 hours a day the past couple of days.
Oh my.
Well, if you've been sleeping around, a cold is kind of the best thing you could have caught. But
Okay.
sorry, probably a bad joke for an ace. But
Real bad joke for an ace. Yeah. Oh my.
Yeah, no, I caught the con crud and I hate this cold. I thought I was going to be fine. I was like, okay, it's not so bad. The first 3 days I was okay. And then the next 3 after were like, hi, we're going to put you through hell.
yep, I know exactly what you mean by the con cold. I've come home from conventions like that a number of times.
Yeah. And the thing was that I actually caught it from my best friend who I went to the Ren Fair with. She didn't know she had a cold until we were already at the fair. So it
Yeah,
was one of
what's
those
the worst
things where it
thing?
was like, eh.
Yeah, one of the worst forms of con cold is that you get to the convention and find out that the person you're sharing the hotel room with was sick but decided they were going to come anyway.
Oh, no. She would not have done that to us. She did not know she had a cold until she was like, I am really super stuffy and my throat is scratchy. And I'm like, oh, shit. We're all going to die of a cold after this, aren't we?
Yep.
But no, I fortunately do not have any friends anymore who would be like, oh, I have a cold. I'm going to go share a hotel room with everybody. It's like, no, you don't do that. It's one thing if you don't know. If you don't know, it's fine. But if you choose to, don't expect to make it out of the hotel room without a few scars.
Yeah. Okay, well, how about you, Diana? Do you have a guest book for Sunday? Or?
I actually don't really have an idea of what's coming up for Sunday. Probably more of same, just kind of picking a title and staying on topic for a minute and a half of Faye knows about that. When I was on her show a couple times, I think we were lucky to make it to a minute on topic. And it's kind of nice, though, the way we just float around from this to that to the other. I could almost get used to it. There's no prep required. Now, for the 23rd, yeah, then we're definitely going to have a topic, and that topic happens to be on the screen with me here right now. And we'll see.
Yeah,
if
well,
we
I
can,
was asking you to do the final wrap up that we run all Saturday night. If you'd finish it up there.
Yeah, sure, absolutely. I'll take it as long as we can. you want you want to go long, we can do that definitely.
Well, I won't be able to be there for too long because my sister-in-law is planning our going away party for that same day.
Ah,
So again, I'll be able to be there for until noon or so. I'm not sure how much after that.
okay.
Well,
So
noon
wait a minute.
noon my time, which would be 1 o'clock your time.
Wonder Lady says she was looking for you yesterday.
Yeah, I saw her DM, and basically yesterday, by the time I got home, I was so wiped out, I could barely read the screen, let alone come up with a coherent response to anything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love
And
that
that's
when it works
that's
that
kind
way.
of where I'm going now. Is that after I log off of here, it's like I've got about 3 hours while things are still open around here to run some errands. So then I'll be back in the evening and have a little bit of time for internet stuff, but packing and all that. So
And then and then that one too. At noon. Okay, so that was about 3 hours ago.
yeah,
A video released on the transgendered chef. If anybody wants to see it,
I
the
saw
one
that in my subscription feed. I put it in my watch list, but
oh yay, there was the one about coming home from the grocery store.
yep.
How the hell did I get 200 some odd views on that film? I don't get it. I was expecting to get 6, and here 220 some views. For me unloading my backpack from the grocery store, it's like how?
Well, because
So interesting about that.
I think most cooking shows are on the idea that you have an unlimited budget. So the idea of a cooking show that's actually about things that people might be able to afford to make themselves is a really novel idea.
Oh, and about yesterday's conversation, Diana, if I can ever get you down here, I'm taking you to the Vietnamese store
I
because all
saw
that
that.
stuff
Oh
y'all
my
were talking
my.
about, I was like, what the hell prices are y'all dealing with? I mean, now granted, when you first buy the stuff, it is kind of expensive. But for me, a lot of those things last 10, 20 rounds or so.
Okay then.
And so it's not that bad. But hoisin, the size that Kate was talking about, I was like, I paid $2 for that shit.
Okay then.
Black
Yeah.
vinegar for me is cheaper than balsamic vinegar. I can get a big, ginormous bottle of black vinegar and pay $1 less for it than I would balsamic vinegar.
And then I'm the one who's accustomed to, $7 for, say, half a pint of sesame oil. For 8 ounces of sesame oil. God, that shit's dear.
Yeah, no. There are some things that are still a little bit expensive, but the way the Vietnamese store that I go to is they consider themselves a neighborhood grocery store. They don't consider themselves a specialty store. They are
Okay
there
then.
for the neighborhood, and therefore they try to keep their prices lower so that people can go and get their staples and not
Well,
have to pay an arm and a leg for it.
Where do they go when they want food?
They cook it themselves. They own the restaurant next door too.
Oh, okay. So, like they make swing line cutlet, and I'll be over there.
Yeah, I got the
Yeah.
Staples reference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my.
But
Actually,
yeah.
one of the neighborhoods I used to live in Minnesota, the Vietnamese grocery store was actually just a front for a drug company.
Oh yay! That's always a good thing.
Yeah, that basically, if you bought a 50-pound bag of rice, you would find a little surprise in it.
Yum. Oh, jeez. Yeah, there was a store that was kind of trying to be not necessarily a specific geographic area, but a sort of Southeast Asian in general store. But there was more floor space in there than there was stuff on the shelves. It was down the street from where I lived prior to here. But yeah, it was, didn't go there very much because if I wanted 50 pounds of rice at a time, I could get it, but it's going to take me a while to eat 50 pounds of rice. I may go through 15 pounds of rice this month. I'm not sure. We'll see what happens. Yay. Yeah, and then that's the other thing I'm going to be doing is, when I came on here, I had just come back from the Squall Mart. I had picked up some kitchen equipment that I will be using when I make the pre-Lenten food. So there's going to be a video coming up within the next, I don't know, maybe 10 days or so. Yay.
Yay for videos.
Oh my, yeah, it's like I say, it would be so nice to be able to make more cooking videos, but I've got to eat the stuff that I make. And I'm trying to lose weight as it is, damn it.
Yeah, it gets difficult at times. A lot of times, too, the cheap shit is also not good for you.
Well, that's the situation I'm in here. Is the only thing that is cheap is cheap meat and potatoes.
Yeah.
So it's like I get very little fresh produce, and I'm sure that's why I've been putting on weight and not doing as well. So that's part of the thing of getting back to Minnesota is, definitely much better grocery stores.
I'm trying out a bag of apples for dinner and maybe a pound of grapes for dessert. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, in my case, it's accessible. It's just I have not had the energy to put things together. Like, basically all of our meals lately have been like, here, I bought all these vegetables and I'm not cooking them. Y'all munch away.
Well, and especially right now with getting ready for the move, my diet is basically based on, okay, I've got a freezer packed full of stuff that I'm going to have to give away or throw out in a couple of weeks because it's not going to travel.
Yeah.
So it's like, just trying to eat what's on hand and not buy much of anything new.
Yeah, you get some interesting meals that way. My wife and I used to do that. We would go shopping once a month for groceries, right around the beginning of the month. Just because we had so many other things to do, we'd go shopping once a month and bring all this stuff home. And then by the 25th, it's, okay, what really interesting stuff are we going to have today? And just throw shit together. Yeah.
Well, like I said, part of it with me has been I maybe can cut something up right now. Maybe. Just cut something up. And by the time I've cut something up, I'm like, okay, back to bed with me.
Okay. And then there's the thing, the little saying, I guess if you would call it, that Kate has that I dearly love. And it's, I'm hungry, but I don't have any food. I only have ingredients.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's a really great. It's a great way of saying I don't want to cook. Damn it.
Well, it's not I want to cook. I just can't right now. I am so tired of not being able to take care of everybody. Because even though they haven't complained and there is food and they're technically eating healthy right now, they do deserve a hot meal every once in a while.
Yep.
Well, okay, I got an idea. You make up whatever it is, like you just throw some stuff into a bowl, but before you throw it into a bowl, you line the bowl with newspaper. And then you throw the stuff in, and then you set the newspaper on fire, and they have a hot meal. No, huh?
I think my family would start to wonder if it was about time to take me to the hospital.
What? They're
They're
not
like,
wondering
"You're not-"
already? What?
No, I've been active enough to not, but they'd be like, "We think you have a fever. Why do you think I have a fever?" Listen, we really think the cold is getting to you, and we need to take you to the hospital, sweetheart.
Brian, Purple, Faye's got a point over there. With the temperatures that we're having, is it possible that the food would travel?
Well, see, the problem is I can't predict what the temperature is going to be on February 29th.
Oh, yeah. I mean, whatever you might have left over on the 29th
Yeah.
after you've eaten most of it.
Now. It's possible that some of it, packed in a cooler in the back of the truck where there's no heating may be okay. On the other hand, if it's a bright sunny day, the back of the truck may heat up to be 50 degrees.
Can you remind me of Reptavia there, on the other hand? There is no other hand! Go! Anyway.
Nah,
Do you think we would
That
use that
reminds
phrase, on
me-
the other hand, if we were like an octopus? Because that
Yeah.
could go on for a while then.
Yes, it could.
that reminds me of a Shoggoth on the Roof. I have a friend who tells me I listen to weird music, and he puts song requests up on his Twitch streams, and I've been putting in requests, and he's like, "You listen to some weird music." I says, "You haven't heard how weird it is yet. I've been holding back." And he goes, "Don't hold back." And I'm going, "Are you really ready for the H.P. Lovecraft crossover with Fiddler on the Roof? You really want to go that weird? Because I will pull that out."
Oh, God, I love it. I want to hear
I
that.
have the soundtrack. It's on YouTube. I'll send it to you.
Oh, jeez.
No,
there's
a Christmas one. There's a Christmas one, which is harder to find. And then there's the original, which is Shoggoth on the Roof. One of the songs is called Tentacles.
Tentacles. Anyway, yeah. I don't know enough of the melody to do it right, but I'm thinking of the tradition.
Yeah, you're correct.
Okay.
It is the tradition song. I would sing it myself, but I don't want to die.
There you go. And yeah, there's a point there from Faye. You still need to get Sammy to the vet.
Actually, I've got that worked out, and that's going to be taken care of after we get to Minnesota. Basically, I got a waiver from the building owner, to basically give me 30 days after we move in.
Okay, that's a good thing.
At
least it's not
as
all
far
packed.
as being able to medicate him. What the vet prescribed for Petunia was gabapentin, which is something that I'm on anyway.
Well then.
So it's like I've already got a stock of those on hand.
Yeah.
Okay, Faye, you're taking off.
It's just a
Well, you'd be
smaller
good.
dose.
No, the only difference is that she prescribed 100 milligrams for the cat, and I get 100 milligram capsules. I just take 3 of them a day, and the cat only takes 1.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah,
I have gabapentin for Elmer. He hasn't had an anxiety attack lately, but I have a feeling they'll come back during hurricane season.
Yeah,
Oh, boy.
He doesn't like. He's okay with rain now as long as it's not too windy. But I'm pretty sure when the hurricanes come through this year, he's going to have trouble.
Okay, and just checking things as I go here. I do have at least one more anonymous donation here.
Yay! Yay! Yay, 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 yay.
So,
An anonymous donation of $13,572.16. No.
no, it's $20, but at least it proves that I do have the PayPal pool thing working properly.
Yay. That's a good thing. Yeah, that's that. Well, I'm not going to say much about the PayPal pool thing I've got going. Let's get you going, and then we'll deal with me later. And besides, I've got time.
Yeah, and one other thing I will mention in passing that I did have an offer of somebody who's willing to lend me some money if I run short. Unfortunately, I don't want to do that because I've got absolutely no way of telling how long it would take me to pay it back. So I
Yeah,
don't consider that a good option, and I don't think it's, something that they could afford to be without for an indefinite period of time.
yeah. There you
That
go.
makes sense. Let's try to get you as close to not needing that as possible.
Yeah, and I'm of, trying to sell off some of my, my other collections.
Yeah.
Well, if it isn't too bad parting with them, that would get you two things in one basket, as far as that goes.
Well,
You'd get some money from selling them, and that's something you don't have to move.
yeah, I'm not thrilled about it, but it's for an important cause, so.
Yeah, I understand that. I've had to sell some things before.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to wrap it up here.
Alrighty.
So thank you, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you, everybody, for the support. Faye, I'll try to catch you a bit later this evening.
And send money to Purple.
Yep. And
Yep.
and thank
Money
you
to
for
Perp.
Dave for shilling out my links repeatedly. So bye bye all.
Take care, kids.